Good evening.
What's up, buddy?
What's happening, guys?
So, for tonight's topic, I want to talk about the Tri versus the Quad Max Gen 2. And specifically, if you were a buyer today of a Tri, would you consider a Quad or would you go with the Tri, and why? Why did you pick what you would pick? Is the question for you guys. Oh, you go first on what I picked?
Yeah, why don't you set the stage, because I know that this is something that you've been thinking about, right?
Yep.
So where did you land?
So I kind of want to try Dune. Like the Dune is the best value performance mix from Rivian right now in terms of, like, you get most of the performance of the quad, you get all the features of a Tri, and you get some extra stuff with it too, like the off-road package, the Dune wheels, the paint, the awesome interior, all that stuff, and it's $100,000 versus you get something like that in just a standard Tri. You add all that stuff on, you're going to look at 110 probably. So 100 for all that stuff is a pretty good deal. So I've been looking at that for a while, but at the same time, this far into the year, we're looking at the possibility of a quad coming out the next model year coming out soon, NAX port coming out soon. So, like, I'm in a pause mode just because I know that there's a lot of stuff coming that I would be willing to consider at this point. The NAX port really doesn't move the needle for me. I'm going to use an adapter one way or another, but the performance and, I'm going to say, the bragging rights of a quad are very enticing. Not just the bragging rights. I like fast vehicles, and that's why I have a Model S P100D from several years back. I'd probably have a Plaid too if it wasn't for the lack of 7 seats. But so yeah, I do like the insane performance of the quad. So given today and the possibility that, like, based on what we saw shared by Motor Trend, that the quad is within like $10,000 of a Tri, I think a lot of buyers like myself would be potentially willing to spend the extra $10,000 to get just absolutely bonkers performance out of a quad. So today, I would be willing to wait a little bit longer just to see what the quad ends up being in terms of, like, full on. They've only shared just on Rivian.com/quad, have shared the specs that they released last summer, right? A lot has changed in the past year in terms of what they've been able to do, and I'm going to guess they tuned the heck out of that thing. So those specs could be even on the pessimistic end. We could be in an even faster vehicle, more range, all sorts of stuff. And so yeah, I'm in the mindset I should be waiting and seeing what happens.
So, Chris, for those that don't know, what are the specs on the quad?
I will pull them up. Hold on one second. I'll just share my screen. Sorry, I got a tab between like 10 windows. Share.
If you only have 10 tabs, then you're an amateur. That's a rookie move.
I have like 10 windows because I have to run Firefox to do this and my regular Safari. So here are the specs for the quad, right? So it's Rivian.com/quad, and you get a 2.5 second 0 to 60, quarter mile in 10.5, and almost 1,200 foot-pounds of torque, and over 1,000 horsepower, right? Just absolutely insane spec-wise. And I think we saw some people that actually launched the quad at the launch event last year. I think it was out in Washington, right? In that area.
Yeah, out in Seattle, yeah.
Yep. And so they were hitting way under 2.5 seconds on the R1T quad. And so, like, I'm talking like 2.4 or something, right? Like, not just like 2.49. It was well under. And again, these are hand-built prototypes, and I'm gonna say prototypes. They're hand-built machines. I mean, they weren't making those quad motors or anything at that point. So the production version could be well tuned to well under 2.4 seconds as far as I'm concerned. So I think it's absolutely insane. The only thing that is going to be something they're going to have a challenge with is this right here, the wheels, right? So I've heard Chad Moran say you can't beat physics, and so at some point the wheels and tires are going to be the choking point for the quad, right? So one, these are special tires, and these are not going to be cheap. both to equip and to replace. And then you have when the videos were done and all that stuff was done last year, they're using a sticky track to get those times, right? So
Prep
Right.
track.
Prep,
yeah.
yeah, prep
prepped
course. Yep.
sticky track. And so flip side, right? Potentially, if you bought this and tried to just pull it out in a open road and hit it, you probably aren't going to get those speeds, and it's probably going to be closer to a Trimax of performance in reality. Is the counter
Right.
argument? So
And I would agree with that. But that can also be part of the fun. I mean, depending on how you like to drive and whether you like your traction control on or off or whatever the case may be, there's still a lot of people out there that like to burn some rubber. And it is kind of fun to slide things around, especially if you know how to drive. So I can see it both ways, but for me, I think try is enough. And it's because of kind of the practicality of it, right? If you're not taking it to a prepped track, you're not going to see maximum performance. I am a fan of the quad motor in theory, like our Gen 1 quads, right? With the ability to do torque vectoring on the road, in the front end, have the outside tire spin a little faster, to help with handling. But I've also been told, and that's on paper, right? I've also been told that in the real world that the Tri handles as well, or at least almost as well as our Gen 1 quads. So I don't know. I think it would be try for me, but yeah, the other good point that you made is if you're spending 110, why not spend 120? I don't know. Jimmy, what do you think?
Do I have to pick one? It's so tough, man. I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago about like the best R1 and our Gen 1s with a comma would be the best Rivian that's currently available anywhere, new or old.
Right now,
Right now,
I
sure,
agree.
sure, but I mean, think about what the three of us all spent on our R1, and then think about what they're costing now for
the most comparable to ours is the Trimax right now, like the performance wise, like the
right.
horsepower, all that.
Yeah,
It's Tri.
yeah. And then the value, like the value prop, like what are you getting in that we don't have in our R1 at a $40,000, almost $40,000 difference in price. Anyways, that's not the point of this video. I apologize. If I were to get one right now, and I had to choose between, if the quad was available today, it would probably be a Tri. The 10 grand is chubby. I mean, yes, I'm already spending 100 to 110 depending on which version I get. I'm not going to get the Dune, even though it is the best bang for the buck. I don't like the color. I mean, yeah, for a couple grand I could wrap it, but yeah, it would be a Tri, because I would want to PPF it, and that 10 grand and change would go to PPF and whatever accessories I needed that I didn't already have. Especially if this was my first Rivian, not counting if I already had one or not. It would be a Tri.
And Jimmy, you just triggered a thought on my end. If I didn't already have a Gen 1 and I was thinking about getting a Tri or a quad, I would be all over the Tri Dune R1S. I'm
Yeah.
not crazy about the color, but with everything that's included, with the new flooring, which I am a huge fan of, and I hope they put in a lot of other, or make it an option, hopefully, and other Rivians down the line. I would do Dune R1S today, and I think I'd even go bold and go color matched wheels.
Oof.
It looks good on the R1S, man.
Looks better on the S than it does on the T. I think the hard part is to not be subjective, because we are all R1 owners. We know what the vehicle is like. We know the good with the bad. But it's so hard not to consider that. Like if you look at it from like the whole, from top to bottom, like from warranty to all of that, like our Gen 1s, you can't beat the warranty on a Gen 1 R1 compared to what they're doing now with the warranties. I mean, it's good, but it's not R1 Gen 1 R1 good.
Well, now Rivian is a bit of a known entity also, right? When we were buying our Gen 1s, they almost, I mean, I know that there was backlog demand, but they needed to prove themselves to the market, and the warranty is one of the ways that they did that.
Sure. But I mean, the nice part is that warranty, on a used R1, that warranty is still there for a lot of the vehicles for a very long time. If you were to go that route, and I keep going back. I'm sorry. It's so tough not to.
Jimmy,
like,
quit it.
It's so tough not to think that way as a R1 owner, man. To not like. Sorry.
So I'm gonna do the thing where I'm gonna add an R1. I'm not gonna upgrade. Like I'm gonna keep my R1S, and I'm gonna add an R1T to the mix. And so as a buyer, I'm looking at an R1T new, and I want to be able to lease it. I want to be able to, I don't know, apply some Rivian referral bucks on it, that kind of stuff. And for me, it's either the Trimax or the Quad. And I really like the Dune. Like, I really like it. I like that interior the most, like the two-tone interior, and I love the two-tone interior on the slate sky interior as well. Just the two-tone is always just chef's kiss. The only thing that sucks about the Dune is it's not Ascend, which is also part of the cost savings, I believe. But I don't care. I like the floor, like everything else about it, so it doesn't really bother me. But I like that the Tri has also got more range. Like it's supposedly, right. So leaked range on the Quad, and let's say leaked, Rivian posted somewhere, it was like 350 miles on the Quad for max, whereas the Tri is what, 410, 405, 405.
No, dual.
No. Dual's that. Tri
dual max. Yeah.
Tri's 380. 3.
I feel like it's 405. I have to look. It depends on what wheels you use, right? So like if you use the
100%,
right,
100%, and then if you go off of what Kyle and team did with out of spec, you're looking at like three. I think their 70-mile-an-hour test that they did was like 309. So you're talking.
That's in conserve mode. Do you do conserve mode on that?
No, I think that was all purpose.
Yeah, with conserve, that's what all purpose. You're going to get 300 something, like low 300s. But the conserve mode, which only uses the front end. So we should talk about that too. Is the motors in the Tri are basically a mix of the best of both worlds, right? So you have the big ass rear motor that is in all the performance of the Quad. So the Quad's going to have the same rear motor. That's got two rear motors, and then it has the Tri also has the Enduro motor, which is the same motor in the dual motor for the front. So when you're in conserve mode, it's using the most efficient Rivian motor in the front to power the vehicle, and so that's why it has a a decent amount of range compared to what the quad will have, which has got two of the bonkers motors in the front and back. I should also mention that Rivian has some really stupid things with naming, right? The interior is called Ascend for the nice interior, but the motors are called Ascent with a T.
Yeah.
Why do they
that
do that?
tracks. I don't
Why do
know.
they do that?
Why'd they raise the price in March 2022?
There's got to be some guy in the room like, we're going to really mess with them this time. We're going to change the last letter.
So here's the other thing, just to chew on a little bit. I think if they really want quad to be a bragging rights thing, it needs to be more than a $10,000 difference. But at the same time, I think they should try to move more of the tri-motors, and I feel like the tri-motor price should be lower. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the quad should have to go up more than planned, but I do think they should have a bigger delta and bring the tri down a little.
So it is 405. I just found it finally.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think you got on the right topic, Skylar, is that on the pricing is that quad at this point is probably going to have to be model year 26. We're like this right around this time is when they did model year 25 cut over last year, right? So they cut over into model year 25 on June 6th. It was the date that they made it official. They shut down the factory in April for all of April. Then they built them in May, and they started selling them and delivering them in like July, let's just say. So at this point, they're better off just going with model year 26, put the NAX port on it, make it called a quad, and then at that time is a good time where they could potentially say, hey, we're giving you all these whatever the new model year 26 things are with the NAX port. Oh, by the way, did you hear there's a little thing called a tariff right now? We should increase the prices by $5,000. So we'll pick some number, right? Some number that is believable, right? And say, okay, we're going to jack all the prices of the quad, including the quad. So the quad was supposed to be 109,900 as the starting for the T, 115,900 starting price for the R1S, and this is per Motor Trend. Motor Trend posted that information, and it was also on Costco's website for a little while. But anyways, those are the prices they shared, and I don't know if those are accurate anymore with the tariffs. And so if the tariffs, let's say the tariffs hit and make it $5,000 higher, they'll do it, I'm sure. And then when the tariffs go away, guess what doesn't go away?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a great way to make a change to the price if it was even close enough that it would be a thing that people would just get to try. They will, they'll move that price way to the right and call it the new model year with NAX. Obviously, speculation, but there's no way that it doesn't happen. I don't think at this point. It would be a great starting point for it to be on the quad, the new. Yeah, I mean,
you could also use it as a lever for demand on the tri with CCS, the 25s, right? And say, hey, you can spend 100 and let's say it's $100,000 now for the base tri, and they say, okay, the NAX 26 tri is going to be $105,000. Look, you can save $5,000 by getting a CCS port, right? And you're like,
oh yeah,
that they could use that as a justification for moving last year's model too.
Yeah, and with a special incentive as well on whether that's different lease deals and or lower APR via financing for those that want to go that route.
Yeah, and if they're smart, they will not call out the price difference. They'll just say special discount on 2025 year models, right?
Yeah.
Because so many buyers don't know or care about so many of the final or so many of the finite details. But there will be people that are aware of NACS and probably willing to pay more for it, right? So,
Oh yeah, I mean there are people that are still holding out on buying a Rivian until it has an export. Period.
right, that's true.
Yeah.
So
Well-
we need to go back to our topic of quad. So to summarize, I'll do the conclusion, AI conclusion. Jimmy is a try, Skylar is a try, and I am a quad. Unless they lose their damn mind and price the quad too damn high. At that point, I'll say, hey, I'll just get the Dune and call it a day. But or maybe I'll just get the try 26 or whatever. I don't know. There has to be something major, I think, for me to do a 26 because the Dune is really good. Now, perfect world. If magic happens and they make a 26 R1T Dune, I'm all over it.
In quad.
In quad,
Yes.
or I'd take either one at this point, right? Right? Like I would love. I'd actually I'd probably take the tri Dune over the quad Dune. I think now that I think about it, just because I don't know, the money savings was going to be substantial there. I don't know. I think like if they're inflating the prices and stuff or tariffing the prices, then the quad could be outside my price range. I don't know.
Yeah.
At some point, tariffs will cause things to be outside of consumers' price ranges, and this could be it for me. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to stick with the Dune because the payment is just so much better with the tri Dune versus the quad Dune. But I don't think they're going to do a quad Dune. I thought so at one point, but I don't think. I think they're going to make specific, like that's a special edition, right? That's what they call the Dune, is a special edition, and so maybe that's the tri special edition, and now they're going to have a quad special edition, and they'll have. I don't know. Everything's probably be special edition from here on out. Maybe the purple, the Grimace mobile will be special edition as well in the quad. So.
Grimace mobile. Awesome.
Any other
cool, guys.
topics?
It is time to get over to the live stream. So let's make the jump. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what people think. What would you do? Try or hold out for the quad? It's an interesting question.